Most startup founders fail, not because they're lazy, not because they're stupid, not because they ran out of money. They fail because nobody wanted what they built badly enough to tell a friend. That's it. That's the whole reason. And if you ignore this one truth, nothing else you do will matter. Not your funding, not your team, not your pitch deck, not your marketing strategy. None of it. Because you cannot market your way out of a product nobody loves. You cannot advertise your way to word of mouth. You cannot hire your way to product market fit. This is where most founders quietly fail, and most of them never figure out why. Here's the uncomfortable truth about great products. Good products get used. Great products get talked about. There's a massive difference between those two things. Think about the last product you genuinely loved. How did you find it? Not an ad. Not a sponsored post. Someone you trusted looked you in the eye and said, "You have to try this." That's the bar. Not useful. Not pretty good. So good that people feel compelled to tell someone else. That's Google. That's Instagram. That's every company that ever got big without spending a fortune on ads in the beginning. If nobody is talking about your product, you don't have a product. You have a project. And projects don't build companies. Now here's the question that exposes everything. Can you explain what you do in one sentence? Not a paragraph, not a tagline, one honest sentence. And when you say it, do people lean forward? Or do they nod politely and look at their phone? If you can't explain it simply, the thinking isn't clear yet, simple ideas spread, complicated ideas die in conversations. If at least some people don't hear your idea and immediately say, "Oh, that's actually really interesting," something is wrong. Either the idea needs work, or the problem isn't big enough. Fix that before you do anything else, because no amount of execution fixes a fundamentally unclear idea. Let's talk about markets, because this is where smart people make catastrophic mistakes. Everyone asks the same question. How big is the market today? Wrong question. Completely wrong question. The right question is, how big is this market going to be? 11 years ago, the market for iPhone apps was zero, exactly $0. Any investor running the numbers that day would have passed. The ones who looked at the trajectory became legends. Markets don't reward effort. They reward timing. A small market growing explosively beats a massive market going nowhere every single time. You don't want to enter a market. You want to catch an elevator going up and let the momentum do the work. The founders who win big aren't necessarily the smartest in the room. They're the ones who found the elevator first. But here's where people get destroyed. Not every trend is real. Some things look like the future and aren't, at least not yet. Here's the only test that matters. Are the early users obsessed, not satisfied, not pleased, obsessed, using it every day, telling strangers about it, feeling like they've discovered something the world hasn't caught up to yet? That's a real trend. The iPhone had that from day one. People were showing it to strangers on the street. That obsession was the signal. Fake trends have buyers who never become users. People buy it. It sits on a shelf. Nobody talks about it. Before you bet your next 2 years on a new platform, find the obsession, not the sales numbers, the obsession, because sales lie, obsession doesn't. Now let's talk about you, the founder, because building a great product still isn't enough. Someone at your company needs to make people believe, not just investors. Everyone, future employees, press early customers. Someone needs to walk into any room and make people feel like they're about to miss the most important thing happening right now if they don't get involved. That's not hype, that's leadership. And here's something most founders get completely backwards. They think starting with a modest vision is safer. It isn't. It's actually harder. Think about it from a talented person's perspective. Why would someone leave a stable job, give up a real salary, bet 2 years of their life on your company for something that might be modestly successful? They won't. But tell them you're going to change an entire industry, that you're building something that genuinely matters, that people will look back at this moment as the beginning of something real, and the conversation changes completely. Big visions attract big people. Small visions attract no one worth keeping. Here's where most founders lose without realizing it. The team, not the product, not the market. The team. The team you build is the company you build. Most founders spend maybe 20% of their time on recruiting. The best founders spend 80%. Because here's the brutal truth. You can fix a bad product. You can pivot to a better market. You cannot easily fix a bad team. The people around you in the first year determine almost everything that comes after. So forget credentials for a second. Here's what you actually need. People who say, "We'll figure it out." Not, "I don't know if that's possible." Not, "That's not really my area." "We'll figure it out." 4 words. That spirit, that belief that every problem is eventually solvable is worth more than any resume. You need people who say, I've got it. People who see something broken and fix it without being asked, without needing credit, without waiting for a meeting to discuss it. Those people are rare. When you find them, don't lose them, and don't sleep on inexperience. Some of the most remarkable things startups ever did happened because nobody told them it was impossible. When you don't know something can't be done, sometimes you just go ahead and do it. The best early teams mix experienced people with people who have never been told no. People who haven't learned yet what's supposed to be impossible. That combination is dangerous in the best possible way. Now, here's the thing most founders don't want to hear. Momentum is everything. And once you have it, your only job is to protect it. That means for the first few years, you never fully stop. Not because startups are supposed to be painful, but because momentum has a physics to it. Things in motion stay in motion. Things that stop are almost impossible to restart. This is where most founders quietly fail, not dramatically, not all at once. Slowly the rhythm breaks. Doubt creeps in, energy drops, belief fades. And by the time they realize what happened, it's already too late. The founder's job is to protect that rhythm every single day, no exceptions. Now let's talk about how you actually beat big companies, because most of the time you won't. They have money, brand, relationships, distribution. But there are 3 specific places where startups win consistently. And if you're not building in one of these, ask yourself why first. Ideas that sound bad but are actually good. Inside a big company, 1 no kills the idea, 1 skeptical VP, 1 nervous board member, none. But you only need 1 yes. 1 investor, 1 partner, 1 believer. That asymmetry is your edge. Look for ideas that make big company people uncomfortable. Those are yours, because no one else will touch them. Second, fast-changing markets. Big companies move like battleships. You move like a speedboat. The faster a market changes, the more your speed compounds into an advantage. In a slow market, big companies crush you. In a fast market, you crush them. Find the fast markets live there. Third, major platform shifts. When the world changes fundamentally, big companies freeze. Too much invested in the old way. Too many people protecting yesterday's model. Startups wake up, see that everything is different, and go all in that same week. That agility in the moment of a platform shift is how startups become the next generation of big companies. We are living through one of those shifts right now. The only question is whether you move like a startup or wait like a big company. Here's the bottom line. Building a startup is not complicated. It just requires doing a small number of things at an extremely high level for a very long time. Build something people love enough to talk about, not find a market that's moving up and get in early. Build a team that figures things out and owns problems. Protect momentum like your company depends on it, because it does. This isn't a strategy problem. It's a decision problem. The strategy is clear. The market is open. The tools exist. The only thing left is whether you're the kind of person who actually does something about it, or the kind who watches someone else do it first. This is the part where most people quit, and a few people win. Which one are you?